Okay, this next story is called The Lost Earring. And I need to give you a little background on this first, as I do with most of my stories. Let's see. It was March of 2012. My husband and I went to Orlando, Florida, to this huge teacher convention. We were promoting a documentary film that we had produced. And we set up our booth, and our neighbors next to us set up their booth, and they were actually selling these beautiful silk scarves and sterling silver jewelry from Bali. And we got to know them over the 4 days of the conference pretty well. And, at one point I thought, even though I'm not much of a jewelry person, I do love scarves, so I thought I'd go over and look at some of their stuff, just mainly to be polite, to tell you the truth. So I went into their booth, and I was looking around, and almost all of the really more beautiful silk scarves had been sold already. But I started looking at the jewelry, and as lovely as it was, like I said, I don't wear a lot of jewelry, but then I saw this pair of earrings, and they had this spiral design on them. And if you've watched any of my other Veronica Whisper stories, you know that I've been drawing spirals since I was a little girl. So I saw these earrings, and I thought, oh, I've got to have these. And so I picked them up, and I paid for them, and I've been wearing them ever since, almost. So there's the background to this. A month later, we were going back down to Mexico to our hotel and restaurant. We have a little hotel and restaurant down there for a wedding. Some really good friends of ours, clients of ours actually, that have been coming back to our hotel for years and years and years, had gotten engaged on the end of our dock several years ago and finally decided they were going to get married. So they would not agree to get married, though, unless my husband married them. So we went down for the wedding. My husband got an online ordainment, so to speak, and we went down for the wedding. We arrived about 4 days before the actual wedding, and we knew almost everybody that were in attendance for the wedding. There were about 45, 50 people. We knew most of them. There were a few that we didn't know, but in the 4 days that we arrived before the wedding, we got acquainted with everyone. So we pretty much knew everyone or had a connection with everybody that was there for the wedding. So Friday night came, which was the evening of the rehearsal dinner, and we went to this really cute little restaurant in Xcalak in town for the rehearsal dinner. And we all got dressed up, and it was fun, and the food was great, and there was a lot of hugging and kissing going on. And we got back home to our hotel, and I was up in my apartment, and I was undressing, and I went to take my earrings off. And by the way, these are the earrings. I went to take my earrings off, and I realized that I was missing this earring over here. And I thought, oh no, I lost this earring. And I was really upset because I had gotten so attached. In 1 month, I'd gotten so attached to these earrings. And I was a little embarrassed that I was so attached to these things, But it really upset me that I lost this one earring. But I thought, oh, wait a minute. I had this little lacy jacket on, so I bet it's hooked in that jacket. So I got my clothes out that I'd worn that evening. I went through that jacket like a fine-tooth comb and no earring. I thought, oh, dadgummit. So the next day, I wore my one lone earring to all day long. It was the day of the wedding, Saturday. And I wore it all day long because everybody that I saw that day, which was everybody in the wedding, or that was there for the wedding, I said, I lost one of my earrings last night. So if you see it or whatever, let me know. I emailed the girls from the restaurant. I asked them, I lost this earring. I asked them to look for it. They emailed me back immediately and said, Kim, we cleaned up, we swept, we put everything away, we shook out all the tablecloths, everything, no earring. So I thought, dadgummit. So anyway, as the day went on, here I'm walking around with this one lone earring, and it came time for the wedding. So my husband and I went upstairs to our little apartment to bathe and, get ready for the wedding. And I took my one lone earring off and laid it on this little shelf in our bathroom to get into the shower. I got into the shower, took a shower, got out, got dressed, and I looked at my husband and I said, this is silly. I need to get over this. It's just an earring. As much as I love him, it's just an earring. So I'm not going to wear this one lone earring. I'm just going to leave it where I put it here on the shelf, and I'm just going to forget about it. I'm just going to be done with it. I'm going to get over this. So I went downstairs, and I was on the beach, and people started arriving. There were about 50 chairs set up on the beach. The wedding was actually taking place on our dock, and people were arriving and just mingling and talking and visiting and stuff. And I was standing on the beach by myself, and there were a lot of people around me, and this really pretty young woman came up to me, and she cocked her head to one side, and she smiled, and I was looking at her, and I was squinting because she was standing in front of the sun, and there was just such a glare, and there's just this, it almost looked like golden light around her. It was just so bright that I was squinting, and she cocked her head to one side, and she said, "Oh, you haven't found your lost earring yet?" And I looked at her, and I'm squinting, and I said, "No." I automatically put my hand up here to my ear lobe, and I said, "No." And then I went, "Huh." And I got distracted, and I kind of looked down, and I'm feeling this earring in my ear. And I'm kind of confused, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, I didn't put this on. I told Dave that I was going to just leave it and get over it, and I know I left it on the shelf upstairs in the bathroom. I didn't put this earring in, but the earring is in my ear. And I looked back up to say something to her, and she was gone. Probably because I was, taking so long to talk to her. But, I kept feeling there's an earring in my ear, and it's this round earring. And so I just couldn't decide what that was all about. Well, then everybody was, the mother of the bride and the father of the bride, they were telling everybody we need to be seated and let's proceed and blah, blah, blah. So I took my seat, and everybody was seated in the chairs and everything. And my attention, of course, was to the ceremony taking place at the end of the dock. And then after the wedding was over, the procession came off of the dock onto the beach, and everybody's hugging and kissing again, and we're all having a good time. But the wind got really strong, and the wind started blowing my little wraparound skirt open, and we can't have that on a 63-year-old gal. So I decided to go back upstairs and change into a pair of shorts. And I was going up the stairs. I then revisited this experience I had with this young woman on the beach, and her asking about my earring, and I put my hand up to my ear, and there was that earring still in my ear. I thought I had dreamed this or something. I had a daydream about it or something. But as soon as I hit that top step of to the apartment, it just hit me. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to walk in to the apartment, and I'm going to find that earring that I said I wasn't going to wear right where I left it. I walked in the bathroom. I'm still holding on to this earring because it's there. I walk into the bathroom, and my God, there is the earring, the lone earring that I still had, laying right there where I left it. So I have now both earrings. Now, this young woman was very familiar to me, and she looked like a young woman who's been missing from Texas for about 11 years. Real pretty blonde young gal. And it wasn't the sun that she was standing in front of, because I'm on the beach and I know that I was facing the water. And the sun it was already 5:30 or 6 o'clock when we came down for the 6:30, 7 o'clock wedding. The sun had already gone behind the 9-meter tall hotel of ours. The sun is already down over to the west, and I was facing, this is due east, I was facing a little southeast. So she wasn't standing in front of the sun, but she was in a golden light. So not only did this wonderful young woman who's been missing for 11 years, I'm very familiar with her missing person case, and I'm very familiar with her face. Not only did she approach me and give me my earring back, but she put it in my ear. So that's the mystery of the lost earring. Thanks for watching.